to film a update or kind of a continued on the storm damage that we have in the area here, as I think this is kind of an interesting location. As you can see, it's a beautiful day. It's late December in southern Alberta foothills, and we're looking at the Rocky Mountains. And what we have in front of us is a clear cut, fairly large cut block on the west side of a long ridge. And the effects that had on the forest adjacent to it, you can see is quite significant. The wind picks up a little bit of speed as it comes up over the ridge, and you can see the amount of damage in here in the forest here. There's thousands of trees down. This is near a popular hiking trail in the area, which is closed due to the extensive blowdown of the trees here. And you can see there's just thousands and thousands. So as that wind picks up speed, it actually makes it worse right here. So the effect of the clear cut can actually damage the forest much further in than originally planned. But we'll just kind of take a walk through here as best we can. And you can see we have trees that are broken, trees with the root balls pulled up. There's a little bit of snow here, but not too much, so you can still see the effect here. And just large pine, spruce, and just a real mess. And it's really unfortunate, as this is a great area for biking and hiking. It's called Boundary Ridge. You can see just an enormous amount of damage. However, this area is closed right now, as they don't want people, well, it's really impossible to walk and bike through here, so it's a bit of a struggle. But as you can see, just an enormous amount of damage here. And wherever you go, and there's places where it almost looks like a bomb went off, where every tree is blown down. But this a very interesting look at how one windstorm can affect the forest for years. So one thing that'll be a bit interesting to see is, with all this wood down, I'm assuming that hopefully it doesn't cause a fire hazard. Maybe it'll be managed by the Parks Department. This is Kananaskis, so it's hard to say. But there could be kind of a bloom of fungal growth and everything with all this wood that's on the ground here, which should be interesting to kind of see over the next few years. But it's almost sad. An area that I frequent quite a bit. You can see my dogs running around here, so don't mind them. Yeah, a lot of, you can see hangars over here, which is kind of the reason they don't want people in here, probably, including myself. However, you got to come into these places to kind of see what's happening. And these areas are so few and far between where we can kind of experience this easily with trails and the great trail system we have here. So it's just kind of sad to see how many trees have come down and how many years this is going to take to be what it was. And this is an interesting one. The tree is actually like bent instead of broken. That's really cool. And we have trees hanging over us and a little bit of a breeze, so we got to be careful, obviously. But some of these are really wedged, and they're not coming out without a significant amount of cutting. But this is just kind of one area, and it's an area with a beautiful view. However, that view is there because of the clear cut, and we can see that the clear cut clearly has an effect on this area of the forest. Here's a big spruce, and this is actually quite interesting. You can see on the roots the mycelium. That is quite interesting. And this would be, I'm not certain of the species, kind of a yellowish mycelium fungal strands, big thick ones. I'll have to look at that. But that generally is a helper to the trees, and something I want to explore a lot more, because it's like one of the most fascinating things about the forest, any forest, including this one, which is a little colder and drier than a lot, but still with this below ground action, all this mycelium helping feed the tree nutrients and water, and just really interesting. So this tree actually took a lot of the mineral soil up, and you see a lot less mycelium in there and a lot more on that side of the tree where there was likely something for it to feed on. This is quite a deep, and this will create what some people call a pillow and cradle, and this is the cradle and this would be the pillow as it rots down. But this one, if it was cut, if the trunk was cut, would probably fall back in. But you know, it's hanging 20 or 30 feet off the ground over there. I'm not quite sure if anybody would come back here and do that, but I guess we'll see. So I may find a couple other locations that will be other kind of interesting filming locations, and hopefully I can do that in the next area here, and we'll take a look at a little more. And we're looking now towards the north, but you can see right on the front line here, almost every tree is down except for a few smaller, more flexible pines here. And some of these are old or older, and some of these are new, but just clearly this windy section is quite hard on the trees here. And there's some lodgepole growing back, probably maybe 6 or 7 years old, or at least since this was cut. And as we walk through here, it's completely blown over right through. So kind of another interesting area. And some large root balls have come up on the edge here, taking rocks and soil and everything with them. So another interesting area. And here you can see an area where some really big spruce trees have gone over the edge, and it's really devastated through here. Wow. I don't think this is on the east side, so these have blown over from the top, and we're down from the top, yet there's still just a huge amount of damage here. And these are very large trees. Picking our way through the bush here, and it's pretty difficult to say the least. But yet another area of complete blowdown. It's quite interesting. We'll see how it is further down. Survivors, which is also kind of interesting. Here we have a large spruce that seems to have withstood the wind, and in amongst a whole pile of pine and spruce that did not. So kind of interesting to see which ones kind of were able to withstand and which ones aren't. But there's an area here, just coming up here, that looks like a bomb went off. It's that bad. So I'm just gonna make my way over there and have a look at that. But right off the end of the ridge here, the wind has blown trees right through here. It's not a very wide ridge, maybe maybe 100, 150 meters at the most. But it's certainly the trail clearing crews have their work cut out for them here. So in this area, almost every tree is down, and it's going to be a lot of chainsawing here. As you can see, just almost like a bomb went off. Hundreds of trees. So just a kind of a interesting update, I thought, to what happened down in the valley. And kind of, it's worse up here. So I guess we'll count ourselves lucky. But it's going to take years to get back, and to get the trails all in order. It'll take certainly weeks, and hopefully by the spring we'll be able to bike and hike through here like we did before. However, in my opinion, it won't be quite as scenic going by all this kind of devastation here. So anyway, that's kind of the update from Boundary Ridge, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.